Hey, hopefully you're enjoying our J&J podcast that we put out on Friday, but we've also got other videos, which is come out like every other day. So make sure that not only like the videos on my page, okay, but also try to go ahead and move yourself over to the J&J podcast fan page on Facebook to go ahead and like the videos, because once we like the videos, then it'll show more videos. But our producer Lauren is behind the scenes doing a great job. She does the lighting, she does the camera work, and she makes sure that we look good and sound good. All right, so make sure that you give a shout out to producer Lauren. And tonight we're going to go to part 2 about distractions. And John, I'm just going to let you go with it.
Yeah, like the ultimate distractions, right? Like I'm distracted right now. Why do I care about my zipper on my pants and not the one zipper? Anyways, distractions, man. Like distractions, right? You did a great job last week talking about it on Hebrews 12, 1 through 3, and great advice that you gave everybody. But there was the ultimate distraction that started everything, right? That led into sin.
Yeah.
What do you think that is?
Let's see. Did it start with Adam?
And maybe Eve.
And maybe Eve?
Yeah.
And maybe the garden?
It might be the garden and stuff, the ultimate sin and stuff. I don't think it's the ultimate sin. There's been way worse sins than eating fruit,
Yeah.
right?
But it was the beginning.
But it was the beginning. Last week I made a video that we posted, and I was praying, like you and I, we pray individually and then we prayed together, and we try to figure subject matters. But like this one kind of hit home, like when I was reading through Book of Genesis. I'm going through the Bible for like the 100th time. And I was reading the story again. I was trying to take a different perspective. And Adam and Eve were given a garden, right? It was flourishing with life. Everything that you could imagine, right? God gave them right there in the garden. Mm-hmm. Everything. And then the serpent, Satan, was in there, slithering around on his belly. And he, came and whispered in their ear, go eat the fruit. But what was God's one rule, John, in the garden?
You can't eat the tree of knowledge of good and evil.
Yeah. Well, you could just said the fruit, but yeah.
The fruit.
You're smarter than I am.
Yeah.
You shouldn't eat that fruit, right? And like he just kept whispering in the ear and whispering in the ear and whispering in the ear, right?
Yeah.
Eventually, what happened?
They ate the fruit.
Yeah, Eve ate the fruit.
But one thing that was important about that is he said that if you want to be smarter than God, then that knowledge, once you eat that fruit, you will be better than God.
Yeah, and that's a whole different story for another day that we could talk about demons and gods and angels and battles and stuff like that. We'll definitely have that topic one day. But today, I bring up the subject of distractions because they were distracted, right? It was the ultimate paradise. And I sat there and I thought about it. Isn't the same thing happen to us every single day?
Yeah.
Coming off of your distraction discussion last week, how many times in our life do we get distracted easily that leads us to sin? And how many times in life does Satan whisper in our ears?
Right.
How many times does he whisper to us and say, hey, John, go, I'm not saying you do this, go steal that cookie,
right,
off the store, or hey, go look at this picture of this girl in an appropriate way, or hey, go lie to your son or your wife or your friends about this certain thing.
Mm-hmm.
How many times in life does that happen to us?
And we try to hide things too.
Yeah, and producer Lauren, does that happen to you where you get distracted and stuff sometimes?
Every day.
Every day, right? And so Satan's always like on his belly whispering false things in our ears, and we get distracted. And we don't focus on our path with God. And we don't focus on our relationship with God. And so we focus on the sin. When this beautiful, flourishing garden that God has, made for each of us as individuals, and how much we could bloom and blossom each flower and like fruits, vegetables, families like in that garden. But what do? We distract ourselves to that sin. Just like Adam and Eve did in the garden. And then once you commit that sin, you feel completely naked and vulnerable, right?
Right.
Because I don't know about you guys, But when you do that sin or whatever sin you commit, don't you feel naked and vulnerable afterwards?
Oh,
You feel
absolutely.
guilty. So I feel like when I read this Bible verse, it was like the first time that it's ever happened in humanity, right? But we've continued to do it. And we allow Satan to do that to us. And we allow those distractions to keep happening. And I'm talking about specifically sins. I'm not talking about like ADH stuff where like, oh, look, a bird flying by. I'm not talking about those distractions. I'm talking about like sinful distractions, greed, lust, gluttony, cheating, lying, like all that stuff. When we're not focused on our relationship with God and building our garden to thrive, we focus on the distraction of the sin. And it brings us down farther and farther to our bellies like Satan.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So that just hit me hard when I was reading the Bible sometimes. And, God really opened my eyes as a father and an individual why it's important to not like get at that level and to focus on the garden that we get a bloom with God and Jesus in life.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. What are your thoughts, John?
Well, I mean, just for an example for practicality is, and I'm just going to tell on myself. So now that we're talking about hiding stuff, I was driving the other day on the highway and all of a sudden my phone went off. Okay. Not a call, but a text came up. And so what did I do? I just glanced at that text. Thank God there was nobody in the right-hand lane. I was in the middle lane because I literally swerved over to the right-hand lane and then swerved back to the middle lane. And all of a sudden, if there was a car there,
Yep, been bad.
because of me being distracted, that's why it's so important just to turn your phone off or turn it on do not disturb. Make sure you do that because so many accidents happen, just practicality, that you have no control over how many pounds is a piece of metal with wheels going at 65 miles an hour.
Yep.
Okay? That could really damage a family. That could really damage somebody and put them in the hospital. And it was just like, I was distracted.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, I just went ahead and pulled over and turned off my phone and be like, well, it's not that important.
Yeah. Yeah, man. And another thing coming off the Adam and Eve thing too, which I find it very interesting, is a lot of people like to blame Eve
Yeah.
when it's not Eve's fault at all.
Adam was there.
Adam was there too, but it was also, once again, the serpent whispering in our ears, right? Now, did we make that choice? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, they made the choice at the end of the day.
Right.
But it was easy to blame each other, which I feel like people do that too much in life, is we blame each other, when in reality, it's something whispering in your ear trying to make you do it. That's just my opinion. I thought it was important to share tonight. So
I think something else is important about the serpent. It's like a double whammy. He whispers into your ear. Then once you get into it, then he just throws so much negative.
Yeah.
Like it's a double whammy. Like, see, I told you shouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have listened to me. But what do? We go back and listen again.
Yeah, we go back time and time again. I think you hit a point by the distractions, at least me as an individual, where it's like, I'm done, man. Bye.
Yeah. Right.
And that's because of God and Jesus. I don't think I could do it without them. So
Oh, no
anyways.
way.
But yeah, that's my 2 cents tonight about distractions. Just make sure you stay on that path with, God and Jesus. Truly trust it. Build your community around you of strong other brothers and sisters. Connect with them. Become a stronger individual. You don't have to walk through life alone. But yeah, John, you want to close us out?
Yeah, so if you've been distracted or if these podcasts or videos have meant anything to you, please comment. Please give us your feedback. And we really enjoy having feedback. But for right now, this is another podcast from J&J Podcast. Peace out.